Did you know the 1970s gave us some of the most unforgettable black music bands that redefined the sound of a generation? From soulful melodies to funky grooves, these bands once ruled the airwaves but have since faded from the spotlight. In this video, we're diving into the stories behind 20 forgotten black music bands from the 1970s. Stay with us as we uncover their influence, their biggest hits, and why their legacies still matter today. And trust me, you'll want to watch until the end to rediscover a band that might just be your new old favorite. 1. The 24 Karat Black. The 24 Karat Black was more than just a band. It was a reflection of the struggles and aspirations of the black community in the 1970s. Their 1973 album, Ghetto, Misfortune's Wealth, tackled themes like poverty, inequality, and systemic oppression, creating a concept album far ahead of its time. With hauntingly soulful melodies and funk-laden grooves, the album stood out but sadly didn't achieve mainstream success. Over the years, however, their music found a second life, as hip-hop producers sampled their tracks to add depth to modern beats. Names like Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, and Dr. Dre owe part of their soundscapes to this forgotten gem of a band. But despite this retrospective admiration, the band itself remains shrouded in mystery, their potential never fully realized. Imagine discovering their music for the first time. It's like unearthing a piece of history that's as relevant today as it was then. 2. The Hughes Corporation. You've probably heard Rock the Boat, a disco anthem that still gets people moving decades later. But do you remember the Hughes Corporation, the group behind this chart-topping hit? In the early 1970s, they were pioneers of disco, blending rhythmic grooves with silky vocals. Rock the Boat skyrocketed them to fame in 1974, but their subsequent songs failed to replicate that success. What went wrong? The disco wave that they helped create quickly became oversaturated, and the Hughes Corporation got lost in the shuffle. Yet their contribution to music history is undeniable. They were trailblazers, paving the way for the disco explosion that would dominate the rest of the decade. Their story reminds us how fleeting fame can be, but their music ensures they'll never be entirely forgotten. 3. Black Murda. If you think rock music was a space dominated only by white bands in the 1970s, Black Murda is here to rewrite that narrative. As one of the first all-black rock bands, they brought a raw psychedelic energy to their music, blending it with funk, blues, and a touch of soul. Formed in Detroit, the band's music didn't shy away from tackling hard-hitting social issues of the time, making them a voice for change through their art. Albums like Black Murda, 1970, and Long Burn the Fire, 1972, didn't gain commercial success, but their bold sound and lyrics made them icons in underground music circles. In recent years, their music has been rediscovered, earning them recognition as pioneers in blending rock and black identity. Listening to Black Murda is like stepping into a time machine. You hear the struggles, the triumphs, and the hope of an entire generation. 4. The Silvers. The Silvers were a force to be reckoned with in the 1970s. This family group of 9 siblings brought infectious energy and show-stopping harmonies to the charts. Their breakout hits like Boogie Fever and Hotline weren't just songs, they were anthems that defined the disco era. But the Silvers weren't just about dancing. Their music had a warmth and sincerity that resonated deeply with listeners. Their polished image and dynamic performances made them a favorite on TV shows like Soul Train. However, as disco began to fade in the late 1970s, so did their presence in the music scene. Today, their songs evoke nostalgia for a simpler, more vibrant time, but their story also serves as a reminder of how quickly trends and careers can come and go in the music industry. 5. Mandrill. Mandrill was more than just a band. They were a cultural phenomenon, fusing funk, rock, jazz, and Afro-Caribbean rhythms. This Brooklyn-based group created a sound that was as eclectic as it was revolutionary. With tracks like Fence Walk and Ape is High, they pushed boundaries and defied categorization. Their albums often featured elaborate artwork and conceptual themes, reflecting their bold creativity. Despite their innovation, Mandrill didn't achieve the same mainstream success as other funk bands of the era. However, their music has endured, becoming a treasure trove for hip-hop producers seeking unique samples. Mandrill's influence is undeniable, and revisiting their music is like uncovering a hidden masterpiece from a bygone era. 6. Royce. When you think of Car Wash, you can't help but hear the funky beats of Royce. But beyond this iconic hit, Royce crafted a string of soulful ballads and funky grooves that captured the essence of the 1970s. Hits like I Wanna Get Next to You and Love Don't Live Here Anymore showcased their versatility, blending funk, disco, and soul. They were more than just a band. They were storytellers who captured the highs and lows of love and life. While Car Wash remains their signature song, their broader discography is a goldmine of forgotten classics. Today, Royce reminds us of a time when music was both heartfelt and fun, leaving a legacy that deserves more recognition. Our next band is an absolute gem from the 1970s. But before we get to them, let's take a quick moment. If you've been enjoying this nostalgic trip so far, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Those Wonder Years. We're always bringing you the best memories from the past, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's jump back in and discover more forgotten musical treasures. 7. Death. Decades before punk became a mainstream movement, Death, a trio of brothers from Detroit, was laying the groundwork for the genre. Their high-energy tracks, like Politicians in My Eyes, blended raw rock riffs with socially conscious lyrics. However, their music was ahead of its time, and they struggled to find an audience in the 1970s. The band eventually disbanded, and their recordings were forgotten until they were rediscovered in the 2000s. Today, Death is celebrated as a proto-punk pioneer, with their story inspiring documentaries and new generations of musicians. Listening to their music now is a powerful reminder of how revolutionary ideas often go unrecognized in their own time. 8. BT Express. BT Express was all about the groove. Short for Brooklyn Transit Express, this funk and disco band kept dance floors packed throughout the 1970s with hits like Do It Till You're Satisfied and Express. Their bass-heavy rhythms and infectious hooks made them a favorite during the disco era, but their music had depth beyond the dance floor. BT Express captured the essence of urban nightlife, creating soundtracks for celebration and release. As disco faded, so did their spotlight, but their tracks remain iconic to those who lived through the 70s and are a joy to rediscover for new listeners. 9. Slave. Emerging in the late 1970s, Slave brought a fresh, funky sound that set them apart from other bands of the era. Known for their infectious bass lines and dynamic arrangements, their hit Slide became a dance floor staple. Slave was more than a band. They were a collective of talented musicians who pushed funk into new experimental directions. With albums like The Concept and Hardness of the World, they established themselves as trailblazers in funk and R&B. Though their popularity waned by the 1980s, Slave's music remains a cornerstone of 70s funk, their grooves just as captivating now as they were then. 10. Funkadelic. When you think of George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic might come to mind, but Funkadelic on its own was a force to be reckoned with. This band fused funk, rock, and psychedelia to create a sound unlike anything else in the 1970s. Albums like Maggot Brain and Cosmic Slop featured mind-bending guitar solos and thought-provoking lyrics that challenged social norms. Their concerts were legendary, blending theatrical performances with raw musical energy. Funkadelic wasn't just a band, they were an experience. Though overshadowed by Parliament's commercial success, Funkadelic's contribution to music remains monumental. Their tracks a testament to creativity without limits. 11. The Brothers Johnson. This duo of brothers brought a polished, funky style to the 70s music scene. Hits like Strawberry Letter 23 and Stomp showcased their mastery of groove and melody. Produced by the legendary Quincy Jones, their music had a sophistication that appealed to funk and soul fans alike. The Brothers Johnson's talent extended beyond their own albums. They worked as session musicians for countless other artists, leaving an indelible mark on the industry. While they're often overlooked today, their music is a perfect snapshot of the smooth, danceable sound that defined late 70s funk. 12. The Chilite. Known for their soulful harmonies and heartfelt ballads, the Chilites were a staple of the 1970s R&B scene. Songs like Oh Girl and Have You Seen Her remain timeless classics, capturing the pain and joy of love with unmatched emotion. The Chilites' ability to weave intricate vocal arrangements with lush instrumentation set them apart from their contemporaries. Despite their success, the band didn't achieve the same long-term fame as some of their peers. Revisiting their music feels like flipping through an old photo album full of memories and emotions that never fade. 13. Brass Construction. Brass Construction was a powerhouse of funk, delivering infectious grooves powered by a full horn section. Their 1975 debut album, featuring the hit Movin', became an instant classic and a dance floor anthem. Known for their high-energy performances and layered arrangements, Brass Construction embodied the celebratory spirit of 70s funk. They consistently delivered hits throughout the decade, but as disco rose and fell, their music gradually faded from mainstream attention. Today, they stand as a testament to the electrifying power of funk, and their tracks remain staples for fans of the genre. 14. The Dramatics. With their smooth vocals and emotional storytelling, the Dramatics were one of the most influential soul groups of the 70s. Songs like In the Rain and What You See Is What You Get topped charts and became anthems of love and heartbreak. Their harmonies and charismatic stage presence earned them a devoted fan base. Though they never achieved crossover pop success like some of their peers, the Dramatics left an indelible mark on the soul genre. Listening to their music feels like stepping back into a time when soul spoke directly to the heart. 15. Heatwave. The Heatwave brought international flair to the 1970s funk and R&B scene, formed by musicians from multiple countries, including the US, UK, and Jamaica. The band created unforgettable hits like Boogie Nights and Always and Forever. Their unique blend of disco and soulful ballads captured audiences worldwide. While internal struggles and tragedy eventually slowed the band's momentum, their music has stood the test of time. Heatwave's catalog is a vibrant reminder of the energy and romance that defined 70s dance floors. 16. Ohio Players. The Ohio Players were synonymous with funk in the 1970s, creating a sound that was as bold and dynamic as their album covers. Tracks like Fire and Love Roller Coaster became chart-topping hits, fueled by their infectious rhythms and sultry lyrics. Their blend of funk, soul, and jazz influenced countless artists who followed. Known for their intricate arrangements and flashy performances, the Ohio Players were pioneers in blending music with visual artistry. While their popularity dwindled after the 70s, their music remains an enduring symbol of funk's golden era. 17. War. War wasn't just a band, it was a movement. Formed in the late 1960s, this multicultural group became one of the defining voices of the 1970s, blending funk, rock, soul, and Latin influences into their unique sound. Known for their socially conscious lyrics, War tackled topics like poverty, inequality, and unity. Hits like Lowrider, Why Can't We Be Friends, and Slippin' Into Darkness weren't just catchy tunes, they were anthems of their time. The band's ability to bridge genres and cultures made them trailblazers in every sense of the word. Despite their massive influence, War doesn't get the same level of recognition today as some of their contemporaries. Re-listening to their music is a reminder of the power of art to bring people together during turbulent times. 18. The Delphonics. If the sound of sweet romantic soul had a face in the 1970s, it would be the Delphonics. Known for their lush orchestral arrangements and heavenly falsetto harmonies, they were pioneers of the Philadelphia soul movement. Tracks like Didn't I, Blow Your Mind This Time, and La La, Means I Love You, became instant classics and solidified their place in music history. The Delphonics' music was more than just sound, it was emotion, capturing the highs and lows of love with a tenderness that few could replicate. Despite their contributions, their legacy has often been overshadowed by other acts from the era. Listening to their music feels like stepping into a time capsule of romance, elegance, and pure soul. 19. Kool and the Gang. Before they became synonymous with celebratory anthems like Celebration in the 1980s, Kool and the Gang were funk pioneers in the 1970s. Their early work, marked by albums like Wild and Peaceful and hits such as Jungle Boogie and Hollywood Swinging, showcased their unparalleled ability to blend funk, jazz, and soul. What set them apart was their versatility. They could seamlessly transition from danceable grooves to heartfelt ballads. Despite their evolution into mainstream pop in the 80s, their 70s catalog remains a treasure trove of pure funk brilliance. Kool and the Gang is a testament to the enduring power of adaptability and musical innovation. 20. The Commodores. When people think of the Commodores, Lionel Richie's name often comes to mind, but the band itself was a powerhouse long before Richie's solo career. Known for their blend of funk and soul, the Commodores ruled the 1970s with hits like Brick House and Easy. Their music was both energetic and heartfelt, with a sound that appealed to diverse audiences. Beyond the radio-friendly hits, the Commodores' albums were filled with hidden gems that showcased their incredible musicianship. While Richie's departure in the 80s marked a new chapter for the band, band. Their work in the 70s remains iconic, a reminder of their undeniable impact on the music world. That wraps up our list of 20 forgotten black music bands from the 1970s. What did you think? Which band deserves a comeback? The funky grooves of Mandrill or the smooth harmonies of the Delphonics? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Those Wonder Years, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a nostalgic update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.